Well, good afternoon, namaste. It's myself, Pralachand Yogi from my school. Well, and I don't think that I have to mention that I'm an English teacher and I teach 11 and 12 classes. And nowadays, the teaching has been stopped because of the examination of 12 class and 11 classes. Naturally, I'm free. So, sometime I think, why should I not make some videos? Because I always remember my past days when I was a young student. I used to search people to listen English. A few people used to speak English that time. There were enough materials for reading, but a few chances and opportunities used to come across where I could listen people speaking in English. Actually, what happens when we see anyone speaking, we get some ideas because at the time when we come across some people who speak English, there our two organs work very um, speedily. Uh, they are our eyes and our ears. So when someone speaks before us, we see them, we watch them, and we listen as well. So what happens? Both the skills are exercised. They get good exercise. I mean, listening skill and visual. So when we listen, then what happens? A kind of idea is generated in our mind. In the same way, we get some encouragements too. And in fact, some of us may have some problems of pronunciation. There too, they get a chance to listen and to filter their ideas. So this is very much important that we should be with English speaker or speakers, or we should watch movies, and we should listen English speaking people. So just to fulfill that very need, I usually speak and make some videos. I don't have any other expectations. So here, what I would like to talk today, I have decided to talk about how to teach. This very video can be useful for the teachers who have just entered in teaching job or teaching, what to say that areas, teaching field. Well, so what happens? I have seen that in many schools, many of the English teachers, they tell the students to make only one notebook and I mean copy, and they write everything on that in that copy only. Later on, what happens? The copy is filled, and children keep those copies somewhere, and they forget again. They make new copies, and when exams come, and that time they have to make a revision, but because the copies were kept aside, and now it is difficult to recover those copies again. So uh, that this idea of just telling the student to make one copy, I don't think is covering all the field of teaching skills well, because we have four skills, at least the four skills we are to apply, we are to pay attention. The first is listening. Well, so a note copy, at least some points, some topics there to be noted by the students related listening. Well, another thing is, okay, in listening, uh, what happens? Some kind of practices can be given, and at the time of listening, a lot of things can be done. Well, so for listening, there should be one note copy. Another note copy should be speaking, because speaking is skill. For speaking, so some certain um, exponents are there, some certain situations are there. Well, and those points, those lines, those sentences, some situational sentences, conversation, dialogue should be given in that speaking copy. So a child should have one note copy for listening skill, another for speaking skill. And the third skill is that reading. Well, at the time of taking the classes or teaching the students, the child should stand up and read. And then that is the practical way. uh, in reading skills, some comprehension passages should be given there. Well, and that is why one note copy should be for reading skill. Another, the last one is writing skill. And for writing skills, as we know that they are guided writing and free writing, like that. So the writing works, I mean the items that is taught in writing skills should be noted down in writing copy. This way, it is natural that a child should have four copies at least. Well, one for listening, another for speaking, and the third one should be for reading and writing. And though these all the four copies should have different items according to the skills. For example, I have already mentioned, if it is speaking note copy, there should be dialogues, conversations, some situational sentences, and some guidelines for communications. Well, so that is for speaking copy. And enough items are there in our books that is recommended by our government. So if we talk about the student or about the grade 10 or 9, there are enough exercises related to writing skill, speaking skill, reading skill, listening skill. So if a child has got only one notebook, and he or she is noting down or writing everything in one copy, so that does not seem to be nice. And suppose one copy is lost, then everything is lost. So if that will be better, that if the child has got four copies. And another thing, what I suppose should be, that is of translating skill. Well, because translating is an art. That is also an art. uh, Great skill is required for translating a sentence from one language to another one. But uh, if anybody just is kidding, then it's easy to say everything, that everything is not difficult, everything is easy. But if one is serious, then translating from one language to another language into another language is really very difficult. And especially translating from English to Nepali is easier than translating from Nepali to English. So a note copy should be for the translating work too. So what can be done? The teacher, before he leaves, because what I believe, a teacher should be punctual of time. He should note down at the time when he enters the classroom, and he should know what is the period, I mean what is the time of the period. If suppose the period is of 40 minutes, then he should not spend more than 5 minutes to reach to the classroom. And after that, he should be calculating the time that is passing in his mind. And before or 5 minutes are remaining, he should start giving homework. And in homework, it is easy that he should give 5 sentences to translate. I mean, he or she can just dictate or speak some sentences of Nepali, and so tell to the students that they should translate them into English. And today, suppose today the teacher has given Nepali sentences to be translated into English. The next day, he should come and should not ask for the homework. Should say, "My dear children, I gave you yesterday homework. Today, I'm going to write the answers on the board. One who has done the work, one who has translated the sentences, should compare his or her sentences with my answer. And one, unfortunately, who hasn't done the work should write now." So saying these sentences, a teacher should write the Nepali and English sentences both. This way, a teacher should give the question, give the answers as well. So what happens if there is this kind of process, this kind of activities, that a teacher gives the homework today and tomorrow he himself write the answers on the board? Then what happens? There is not a psychological pressure on the student. A student will feel free and will enjoy it. And those who are really good student will definitely do their homework at home, and it will be very good for them and will be the matter of excitement to match their answers with the teacher's answers. And those who are not very careful, are little bit careless, for them what happens? Rather than not letting them anything, why shouldn't we let them a chance to copy from the board? The children, the student who hasn't done the work, the student who doesn't do the work at home, will get a chance to write something from the board. So this way teacher, for the translating work I'm saying, after finishing his teaching activities, before a teacher leaves the class, should give a translation work every day, and should never punish the students, should never make any kind of pressure on them, because learning doesn't take place where there is pressure. It should be uh, it should be on the interest of the student, because if the student is interested, they will grab everything. But if the student is not interested, then you can't do anything. Okay, it's not a physical work, it's the mental work. The child is not mentally ready to learn. How can you push your knowledge into his mind or his or her mind? So this is one thing. So today what I discussed here, I discussed that there are 4 skills of teaching English, whether it is 8 class, 9 class, 10 class, 11 class, whatever the class is, that 4 skills. And according to the school skills, the students should have note copy, and the items should be different, and the students should note down the items according to the skills. Only one, giving or making only one copy will make everything mess. That's why a teacher should tell the student to make 4 copies at least for different skills. And suppose the students belong to little bit bad financial condition, then teacher can say to divide one copy into 2 parts. I mean, the first a few pages should be used for one skill, and the latter half pages that remain should be used for different. I mean, 2 copies will work for 4 skills, and one single translating notebook should also be there. One thing is also remaining, and that is vocabulary. I mean, word power. Well, without vocabulary, nothing can be done. So, a teacher should himself or herself also give some difficult words to with their meanings, and should tell the students to study the chapter at home and underline the difficult words. And next day, those difficult words should be solved, should be given meanings by the teacher. I mean, teacher should ask the student this way: my dear children, yesterday I told you to mark some difficult words in your textbook. Have you marked? Now one of you stand up and read the difficult words. I will write the difficult words with their meanings on the board, and then you can copy down. So this way the teacher should speak, and what will happen? The students will freely, well, without any pressure, without any tension, will stand up and will speak out the words, and the teacher should write the answers. I mean, meanings in English as well as in Nepali too. We should never neglect Nepali. Learning English means not ignoring Nepali too. I believe so. We learn English just to acquire a kind of skill, but we are Nepali at all. We should love our language too. Okay, how did you like this very video? Please comment. I think this video will be very useful for the teachers and for others as well. Thank you very much.